I will not lie to you. Not just because we're at the synagogue and because it's Shabbos. Because I think that it is important to say that some of the texts in our Torah are difficult to read. Many of them are also difficult to accept. And as I said 2 weeks ago, from this very same place, that is why we have to read them. And we have to read them to also challenge them and to challenge ourselves. We're finishing the book of Numbers. And every year, the last two parashot that are called Matot-Masei are read together. The only time when they are read in different weeks is when there is a leap year. And in the Hebrew calendar, that doesn't happen as often as it happens in the Gregorian calendar. It's like 6.5 years, take and give, more or less, okay? These two parashot are always read before Tisha B'Av comes. And one of the things that I struggle with is that after a first part, which is challenging, mainly because besides being a human being, I'm a woman, and there's a whole explanation that if a woman makes a promise, if she lives in her father's household, if the father doesn't agree to the promise that she made, God will forgive her and the promise is canceled. And if she doesn't live in her father's household and she's married, then if her husband doesn't agree to her promise, then the promise is canceled and God will forgive them. So that, as you can imagine, it's a little bit challenging for me. I don't live in my father's household, and he cannot tell me that he doesn't agree anymore unless we communicate from different realms. And I'm not married, so actually maybe I can make any promise and then I will be free, but that would be just my case and not like it wouldn't sit for every woman. After that, we're called to practice revenge with almost no limits. Go and kill them all, and kill the women, and kill the children, and take everything they have and bring it back to me. God says to Moses, Moses says to the people go and do. They don't always do, but this they do. They don't always do what God says or what Moses asks them, but when it comes to war and going and killing, they're ready, but they come back and they bring the women. And Moses is like, I told you to kill them. What do I do with them now? Like, what will I do? Okay. That's on the first parsha. On the second parsha, things get a little bit complicated, even more. And there are two situations I want to call your attention to. The first one is that last week on Parashat Pinchas, 5 women, daughters of Tzelofchad, go to Moses and say, we understand that we're not getting a piece of land because our father is dead and he doesn't have a boy, but we are 5 girls and we want our piece of land. And Moses says, let me check with the boss. He doesn't say no. He's like, interesting point. We'll go and check with the boss. And God says, they have a point. What they are saying makes sense. So give them the land. Now, their uncles come to Moses. The father's brothers come to Moses and say, listen, I do understand that they had a point, but if they marry a man from a different tribe, then the land that belonged to our tribe will stay with the others. So property issues, so can you go and check with him again and see what he has to say about this? And Moses goes and asks God. What do we do? And what does God say? Uses the same words that he used with Bnot Tzlofchad, with the 5 sisters. Says, interesting. He also has a point. It makes sense because, okay, so let's do this. The daughters can get the land only if they marry within the tribe. And in that way, they do get the part, but they can't marry whoever they want. They have to marry within the tribe. Not only this situation happens, but then we're about to go into the land. Remember, end of Numbers, 40 years in the desert. We're finishing. The next book is Moses remembering and telling the story again through his eyes. 2 of the tribes, Reuben and Gad, think that the land on the east side of the Jordan River is very nice to have cows instead of having to do agriculture, and they want to stay on the other side of the river, which is a land that God didn't give us. You have to cross the river and go into the land. That was not part of the deal. So when they are about to go into another war, they say can we stay here? We'll just pasture, we'll have our animals, can we stay here? Moses but do you remember what happened the last time that someone said, no, we will not go into the land? We're about 40 years, right? The last time that someone went, checked the land, said, no, let's not go in. We had to wander the desert for 40 years. Why would you say something that will make people doubt about going into the land? And they say, well, because we would like to have cattle and build towns for our children. Moses goes and asks God, what do I do with this? In the Midrash now. Sorry, I had to say that. In the Midrash, he asks, and he comes back and said, if you build towns for your children and you have cattle, is it cattle? The cows, yes. Because I can see the word, but I don't know how to pronounce it. So thank you. Yeah, that thing. The cows. Because you are putting property first, the land, the cows, the money, the economics, and the children after. That doesn't work. Same thing, kind of, with Bnot Tzlofchad. Instead of putting the rights of these women, of another generation first, and then property and land, they had it mixed, they mess up. It's not okay. The book of Numbers show us through the Parshiot and until the last one, the complexity and the balance that we need to find between the rights of the individual and society. 2026, we've been doing this actually for quite a while. The centerpiece of society being the individual and the big decisions for all of us being made with other values that are not necessarily the rights and the well-being of every single one is something that we need to think about. Now, I will never say things from this place and from other places either, but here, things that I have a perfect solution for. Or something that I already know and I'm telling you, this is what you people have to do. I will always share things with you that I struggle with. I understand that it's complicated. I also think that things are not working. That we live in a world that is not in a very good place. And that humanity is not. If we go back to the beginning, God created a world for individuals. And when there were two brothers, they killed each other. First, we were thrown out from Gan Eden because we wanted the knowledge. We wanted to be able to distinguish between good and wrong. That's what we want. That's what we did. We ate the fruit that gave us discernment, the ability to say this is good and this is wrong. That's what opened the gates to the world. And then we were in the world and we don't know how to say this is right or this is wrong. We just mix depending of our interest, where we're standing, who we are, who is the person that is asking the question. We give different answers. Our moral compass doesn't work with the morality, but with the who are you friends with, what color your skin is, which party you vote for, and which God do you believe in. That's what changes our decisions. And from Sefer Bereshit, that's what happened. From the individual, he tried to create a family, and that was Abraham. And the family, the 12 brothers, sold one to be a slave. And then it was like, okay, 400 years, slaves in Egypt. He says, like, it didn't work with the individual, didn't work with the family. I'll try with the people, with a group, with tribes. And he took us out from there, and we started doing the same in the desert. So it's not that history repeats itself. We repeat ourselves. History is made by human beings who are at a specific time for a specific period in this world and make decisions, and that's how story is made. So what will we do with the wonderful life that we have been given? How are we looking at our lives? Can we actually acknowledge that the individual person is the most important thing, because we are? I am my own universe. But if I acknowledge that I am my own universe and I want to be happy, I want to have my rights, I want to be able to help others, and I want to live a normal, joyful, simple life. If that's what I want for me, can I understand that Graham wants the same for him? Okay? And Cheryl for her, and Jill and Hedy. Like, that's what you see that you are, and you think that you deserve, and you wish for yourself. Acknowledge that the other person is in the same place, just in a different body, and that we are all one. If it's not good for all of us, it will be good for no one. We are about to go into the land. Are these the questions that we are asking yourself? How can I get more? Or can we build a land when there's a place, a space, love, and trust in every single human that has been created in the image of God? May we all be able to at least consider with curiosity these questions and try to acknowledge the divine in us and the divine in every single human being around us. Shabbat Shalom.